Hey garden friends, today we're going to talk about 10 things you should know about growing Echinacea to make it easier, more productive, and just to be successful with it right out of the gate. So we'll talk about that. At the end of this video, we will talk a little bit more about my secret cottage garden that I am redoing portions of because of damage that was received. And I'll tell you why that's pertinent to this video. Yeah, I started this series with a couple of flowers with cosmos and clematis. It's been really popular, so I know it's something it resonates with people. I get a lot of comments, people saying, oh, I needed this. So that's great. I'm continuing on, and these are mostly simple, basic cottage flowers you can either grow from seed, easily propagate, or find readily at a garden center if you need to purchase any. I tend to, and this year I am leaning towards shopping my own garden or growing from seed. I'm staying away from spending a lot of money, getting back to the basics of gardening. So yeah, let's get rolling and finding out about growing Echinacea successfully. Number one, Echinacea actually prefers tough soil. What does that mean? It means many times people baby Echinaceas too much. Echinacea love poor soil, full sun, and they like heat. And if you give it overly fertile soil or you over love it during the season, you will get a lot more foliage and less flowers. And a lot of times the plants will be floppier and need more support. This is one of those plants when you step back and let it do its thing that you have the most success. This follows along with the Cosmos post I just did. So Cosmos and Echinacea, they make very good companion plants because they like the same conditions. Number two, it comes back year after year. It is perennial, and many times it comes back better and better each year. It's not just that, it usually improves. You get bigger clumps, more blooms, stronger plants, and that's one of my favorite ways to garden. Plant once and enjoy it for years. There's a caveat here I want to let you know about. I love white swan Echinacea, but many times, year after year, in your garden, it will start to revert back to purple. So many times you need to restart white swan Echinacea from seed to keep a white one in your garden. Just a heads up of something I learned. Number three, pollinators can't stay away from them. If you want more life in your garden, Echinacea will bring it. Bees love the open centers, butterflies visit constantly, and later, birds come for the seeds. It's one of those plants that really brings your garden alive or attracts life to your garden. Number four, it doesn't need much water. Get it established first, and then it is very drought tolerant. It has a deep taproot. This makes it an incredibly low maintenance plant. It's perfect if you live in a hot climate, you don't want to water constantly, or you just forget sometimes. I've done that, but now I have a watering system, a DIY irrigation system I put in. I did a video of it last summer because people were asking. It has come in handy for keeping up with watering. But remember, Echinacea don't need that much water when they get established. Deadheading, number five. Deadheading keeps them going. So through the season, keep deadheading or cutting. They make good cut flowers. And if you deadhead and or cut for vases, you keep the blooms coming. It's one of those cut and come again plants or flowers. But towards the end of the season, stop cutting or deadheading because you want those seed heads to develop. Number one, you can collect seeds. Number two, the birds love to eat them, especially goldfinches, in the winter if they don't get buried by snow. But I've had some that are taller than the snow, and then the birds are perched on it, and in against the white, they really stand out, and it's really neat to watch them picking the seed heads out, or the individual seeds to eat. So that's a win-win. And if I have to change them or take them out of that bed at the end of the season for whatever reason. I'll cut the flowers or the seed heads off and I'll throw them in a pile, and the birds will go to that pile and get them, collect them for eating. 6, you can grow Echinacea from seed. They're super easy, and there are certain colors that you can grow other than the original purple coneflower Echinacea. Now, I will tell you that the purple or original native Echinacea is the easiest to grow and maintain. At least it has been for me. And many times original plants of ones that they've made hybrids of for different colors, etc., they can be the easiest. But also you need to know that if you seed grow them many times, they will not bloom until the second year. That's one caveat. But there are varieties, if you look at the seed packet, it'll tell you if it'll bloom first year or second year. For the ones that bloom second year, many times I'll start them in fall in my area because they will overwinter. I do not keep them in the greenhouse, but if I lived in a cooler zone, climate, I would keep the seedlings in the greenhouse to overwinter. I'm in zone 8B. This last winter, we didn't even have a winter, but yeah, just know that. That is something you could do. I don't know, you probably could keep seedlings on a windowsill in an unheated garage where it gets plenty of light and all of those things, because they do go dormant. Now don't think just because they've gone dormant that they're dead. I'll show you a plant. This is one that I found the stalks, because it was dormant, laying on the ground. And they were laying on the ground because a gopher had eaten the roots off. But I knew that if I potted it up, it would regrow. So these are just, this is the dormant plant, and now it's just putting up sprouts like that. So I wanted you to know that, because if you put it on a windowsill of a cool garage and it just died back, it doesn't mean it's dead. It means it's just gone dormant. And once it warms up, it gets enough light, it will start growing again. That's a mistake a lot of people make when the perennials die back and they look, I shouldn't say die back, I guess it is dying back, but then they look dead through the winter. It's not dead, it's just completely dormant, because some will maintain a little greenery on them and you think, okay, that they'll come back fully, but other plants, perennials, they die completely through the ground, you'd swear they're dead. And sometimes it takes until it really warms up for them to get started again. These probably would not be this far along if I had them outside instead of in here where it's been extra warm. And you know what, number 7 coming up next. This hint is where a lot of people waste money or are surprised by their Echinacea. Not all Echinaceas are the same. There are varieties that are sterile hybrids, meaning you cannot collect the seed and start them from seed, as well as they aren't as tough of a perennial. You may get them to come back for a few years and then they go away. They just stop. I used to have one called Maui Sunshine. I think it was Maui Sunshine. Another called Tomato Soup. They were beautiful. And the Tomato Soup one really was the color of tomato soup. I loved it. But it never got very big. It didn't replicate itself. You know, sometimes you can dig it up, divide. I never could really do that. And then one day it just disappeared. And those hybrids can be costly at the garden center. And even the hybrids that are in a variety of colors, they are not always as tough as the original purple coneflower. So if you want reliability, go with the classic. I've grown them all. I do love, and I mentioned this before, I think, let's do it again, the white swan. The white swan, it will last, and it has lasted for me. But many times it reverts back to purple, and then I no longer have a white. So I wanted you to know that too. I'm going to move my camera because the sun's getting in my eyeballs. So number 8, Echinacea do not necessarily like to be moved. Now there is a caveat to this. And Echinacea develop a deep taproot. That's what helps them to be drought tolerant. But that also means they really don't like you digging them up and moving them. But I have, in the past, done exactly that. I've dug them up, I have root divided them and increased how many I had. So there's a give and take. It may take it a while to recover, but many times it will. So just know they don't like to be moved, but it's not that you can't move them. And many times they don't mind it as much if you do it early on. Now, that kind of goes against what I said about digging up and dividing them, because when a clump of mine got really big, that's when I dug it up and divided it, and it worked. But I just wanted you to be aware that you may lose the plant. But if you're growing the classic, they're super easy to grow again from seed. You can collect the seeds from your own plants, so maybe that wouldn't bother you either. So number 9, don't clean it up too soon. And what I mean is in fall, when you've got all the seed heads, if you've let it go to seed, don't worry about tidying up, because those seed heads are beautiful. If you get snow, they catch the snow. Even if you just get rain or maybe it freezes, the frost on them make a beautiful statement in the garden. And 3, the birds. I mentioned this before. The birds love to eat on those seed heads all winter long. And also if you leave them, many times that's when you will get more. And you could dig up the seedlings that come up from the seeds that drop around the plant. Then that's an easy way to get them started. And this is especially true if you let them fall early enough in the late summer, fall, that they go ahead and germinate if they're hardy through the winter in your area. And those seedlings will overwinter just fine, and then come spring, you can move them to other spots. And then you have one that'll probably bloom the first year. And I kind of went over that before about them, some not blooming until the second year. And you know, a garden, it doesn't have to be tidy to be beautiful. 10, it blends beautifully in a cottage garden. The Echinaceas have the same likes as far as care or maintenance as many other easy to grow cottage garden flowers. And that's like Cosmos, did a video on Cosmos, Rudbeckia. I have Larkspur that it grows alongside with. What else do I have? Yarrow. Yarrow is a great one. And Black-Eyed Susans. Did I mention those yet? Kind of got off my list there. But yeah, all these flowers not only grow easily from seed, but they all have the same low maintenance tendencies. Leaner soil and less water. So you can plant these together and have a beautiful cottage garden area. So if you're looking for a plant or flower that gives more than it asks of you, then Echinacea is right up your alley. It's tough, it's beautiful, it's reliable, and yeah, you almost can't go wrong with it. Now I know there's going to be some people that say, I tried it and it didn't work, I have this, I have that. What can I do differently? Now that is very, very hard for me to answer because there's so many variables in our gardens. We have microclimates in our gardens. Even though we could say I'm a zone 8B, I may have microclimates around that are in my garden that are really a 7. So yeah, it's really hard for me to give you advice when something may have gone wrong. All I could say is try another spot in your garden or try a different variety. As I said before, I think I said it, certain varieties don't last as long or are not as easy to grow of the Echinaceas as the classic purple coneflower. So start with the classic and then move on. I do have other colors. I have like a sombrero red or an orange, but I've noticed they don't get as tall, which I like that, not as tall. And there are some shorter growing ones too that you can grow from seeds. So check out all that's available, but just know the classic one is the easiest according to what I have experienced. So that's a good one to start with. So if you like this video, you might like my other ones on cottage flowers. One so far I've done is clematis. And then that one I can't grow from, I guess you could grow it from seed, but I started with clematis because I had a request for that. And I have a lot of clematis videos, but I did 10 things you need to know about growing clematis. And then I did one on Cosmos. So this one is about Echinacea. Now I'm going to go on doing other cottage flowers that I am going to grow in my secret cottage garden area that I have to redo because a large tree fell on it in the last snowstorm we had. Now, one of them is salvias, one of the plants. I need to go get my salvia to show you. So here is one. This is a Stella Purple or something. I think I got this from Botanical Interests or Renee's Cottage Garden. Renee's Garden. This is a Stella Purple. I grew this from seed. I have 6 of these. Now, salvias is one of those plants. Super easy. They like it lean and mean, and they are drought tolerant once established. Also, I have a lot of, I'm looking around at what I have here that I've started. Here's another, here's a sage that I took cuttings from. One I had, this is a golden sage. I already have some in the secret cottage garden as a edging, and the colorful foliage is just beautiful all summer long. Here is my Gomphrena. Now this is an annual, not a perennial, and I started these seeds a little while back, and look how beautiful they're doing. They're going to be perfect when it's time to put them out in the garden. This one is lavender. I also have a mix I did. So yeah, I have Rebecca's that I got started last fall. They're doing great in here. Also, you know, another thing you can add is zonal geraniums. I have tons in here after giving away tons that I took cuttings from and have the little plants to go out. They make beautiful fillers in areas. Sometimes I'll just keep them in a big container, and when an area goes kind of drab because maybe those plants in there had stopped blooming and it's going to be a while before the next ones bloom, I'll put that big pot of geraniums there for color. So there's so many things that you can do. So anyways, that's my spiel of 10 things you need to know about Echinacea and what you can expect coming up. I will do a video of me walking around my garden plant shopping. And that goes along with, I just did a video on stop buying plants and how you can assess your garden, and you could take plants and fill in other areas of your garden, and you don't have to go plant shopping. So I'll link that in the video or in the description box. And have you grown Echinacea from seed or otherwise and found a favorite? Please let me know in the comments below. And yes, I'm always enjoying learning what you have experienced in the garden. So I'll see you in my next video.